Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to be making hot chocolate bombs. This is a viral food trend going on right now that was created by a baker in the Green Bay area by the name of Sweets by Jen. This blew up on both Facebook and Instagram, and I thought it was really neat how it worked and how easy it was to have this very nice effect that it has. So first thing, a thank you to everyone who subscribed and liking the videos, and if you haven't already subscribed and you do enjoy this, subscribe for more recipes and food-related videos. For our ingredients, we need chocolate, mini marshmallows, and milk or almond milk. Optionally, besides those, I am adding 1/8 of a teaspoon cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of dark cocoa powder. One quick note on the chocolate though, you do not want to use Hershey's chocolate in this because it melts at about 75 degrees, whereas regular chocolate melts at about 86 to 90 degrees. The Hershey's chocolate will not be able to harden sufficiently without making it so thick that you really wouldn't have any room on the interior for more than like 4 marshmallows, and that's just no fun. First, we're going to need to melt our chocolate in the microwave for about 30 seconds at a time until it begins to melt. You don't want to do too long because you definitely don't want the chocolate to seize. This usually takes about a minute or so, but I have seen them take longer, up to about a minute and a half. I'm using chocolate wafers that are intended for melting here, but if you use a regular bar, you'll want to break it up into smaller pieces. In the US, you can usually find these wafers like I have here, somewhere near the fruit and vegetable section in your grocery stores. Once we have it mostly melted, we are ready to start applying our layers to our mold. Quick note, if you're using a silicone mold, you should not need to use any oil or grease on the molds to let the chocolate release from the mold. It should release just fine. For the first layer, we just want enough to coat the inside lightly, and you want to make sure you get the whole thing if you can. To do this, we're going to use the stickiness of the chocolate to allow us to paint the chocolate with the back of the spoon like you see me doing here. This will let us put just enough on to keep it from dripping into the center. Once we have all of the inside of our mold covered, it goes into the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. This is going to allow the small layer we have to fully harden all the way and ensure that it doesn't melt when we stack our next layer on top of it. Now, for the second layer of our chocolate, we want to make sure that we fill any bubbles or thin spots that the first left over. So if you have any holes, you can just dab a bit of the melted chocolate over the hole and give it a few seconds, and then dab around the hole, and it'll help soften the area and make it easier to fill those holes in. Once all of your holes are filled, we want to build up the sides of the sphere roughly right where they are going to join to make sure that the two are thick enough. Don't get super stressed about making all of the walls the same thickness or if the interior is smooth or not, because once we're done and we put it together, nobody's going to see the inside of here but you. So it doesn't need to be smooth or pretty on the inside. Once we have our layer on and we know we've thickened up that little outer edge there just a little bit, we go back into the refrigerator for another 10 minutes. Now for our third layer, we are going to do something just a little bit different on this one. At this point, the walls on the bottom are good, but our edge where the two halves meet is still far too thin to give a good connection, and it may not actually be strong enough to hold the two halves together. So what we need to do here on the third is, instead of painting with the back of the spoon, you're actually going to want to cover it with a light layer of chocolate and then drag it across the rim of the mold, of the sphere, while pulling outward. This is going to cause a clump of chocolate to form right on that very top edge where that corner is, and that's going to give us a lip inside there that's going to give us some stability, and it's going to make sure that we have an easier time putting the two sides together. And of course, once we are done with that, it's in the refrigerator for yet another 10 minutes. Once it is all nice and cold and solid, we just have to remove them, starting at one of the edges. To get these free from silicone molds cleanly, you want to slowly bend the mold away from the chocolate and free most of the top rim first. Once you're there, you want to gently start pushing on the bottom of the sphere, not in the center but near it, and you want to push towards the center while slowly peeling the mold away. This is going to let us slowly peel the silicone away from the chocolate with minimal damage, if any damage at all. This, by the way, is where Hershey's chocolate fails. It remains so soft even after 30 minutes in the refrigerator that being out and trying to work with it at anything above about 70 degrees in room temperature will make the chocolate just kind of fold in on itself and constantly collapse. And that is neither cool nor neat. I have not found this problem with any other chocolate, so as long as you stay away from Hershey's, I think you're good here. Oh yeah, the lower melting temp is also what makes Hershey's pretty much the best chocolate for s'mores though, so it's not necessarily a terrible thing, it's just terrible here. Alright, once they are out and ready to go, we just want to clean the edges a little bit. We just need to break off any parts of the rim that are still poking out from the sides. You don't want to get super worried about it being perfect, just get it clean enough that nothing major is sticking out. We can clean the seam later if we want to. Once you get all of that out, we just need to pick a bottom and put our marshmallows and optional ingredients inside of it. I'll typically choose the cleaner edge for this, but it actually shouldn't matter. Now for joining the two halves, I'm going to use a plate that I've been soaking in hot water for about 2 to 3 minutes, dried it off. It should be noticeably warm to the touch, but does not need to be super hot. For our bottom, we'll hold the plate upside down and lift the half sphere till the rim touches the platter and twist it just a little bit. Once you feel it sliding, that means the chocolate has started to melt and it's ready to go. Stack a few more marshmallows on top, grab the other half of our sphere, and we just need to do the same. Set it on top of our plate, give it a few good twists, and once we know it's started to melt, we can start putting them together. Once joined, you guessed it, back into the refrigerator for another 10 minutes. Once they have fully cooled, you can use the back of a spoon that you've warmed in water, similarly to what we did with the plate, to sort of melt down the seams. And you can use a little bit of the chocolate mixture, which should be almost solidified, but not quite yet, still be just a little bit soft, and you can fill any gaps and holes there. Once all of that is done, you are ready for the second best part, the pouring. But first, actually, you'll need to heat your milk, either in a pot or in the microwave. I did mine in the microwave. It took about 2 minutes to get hot enough. Also, you do not want it to boil, so I would generally give it a minute at a time and check in between until it's roughly uncomfortably hot for the finger test. For the non-dairy people, I mentioned almond milk, and there's a reason for that. I tried this with oat milk as well, and that was a failure. It was really, really, really bad. It highlighted some of the oat taste so well to the point of being overpowering and annoying. It tasted like drinking chocolate oatmeal instead of hot chocolate. Almond milk suffered from none of those issues, and the oat milk kind of clumped up a little bit too, and it made the drink grainy, so yeah, stay away from oat milk on that one. Normally, I find in a lot of Instagram food trends like this tend to look great but suffer in flavor for it, but this one I really liked because it just presents the ingredients in a different shape rather than compromise the flavor to get the pop, so to speak. Sweets by Jen really knocked it out of the park with this idea. I can see this going over great with kids and adults alike. With that, again, thank you for watching, and everyone who has been watching. It is really nice seeing the channel growing over time, and that makes me very happy. So, as always, have a great day and a great meal, and I hope to see you back for the next one.